Now that we are going through the process of adding images to our page, I'm going to finish off our index page here, our opening page, by adding in the two final images that we've already seen in the preview of what this opening page is going to look like. First of all, I'm going to add in a photograph here, underneath where it says calendar and just above where it says August 2013. And you'll remember in a previous tutorial, we've already left a space here, ready for us to insert this image. Now if you've not done that, simply place your cursor in front of August and hit the Enter key on your keyboard to create this space. And then once you are ready, make sure your cursor is here, ready for us to insert the photograph. Now you'll also remember from previous tutorials, a simple way of adding in a photograph is by opening up your images folder first of all, and in fact the photograph we are going to use is this one here, called Image Turker 1. It's this JPEG file. Well, you'll remember one of the ways that we can instantly add our photograph is by selecting it first of all, and then dragging and dropping to the insertion point on your page where you want this to be placed. Well, that's one way we can do this. And to be honest, that's the way I do it normally. However, I do want to show you a different method, simply to cover all bases. And the other method simply relies on using our menu bar and going up to your Insert button, the fourth one along, and then rolling down to this option, Image. You'll notice it has this flyout, offering us these three options. Image, Rollover Image, and Fireworks HTML. Well, we want the top option for this tutorial, Image, so I'll select it. And in this resulting Select Image Source dialog box, all I need to do is navigate to my Images folder, so I'll double click on it to open it up, and then simply select the relevant photograph. It's this one here, Image Turker 1. So I'll select it, and then simply hit OK. And there we go, we now have our photograph inserted here. Now do notice its dimensions though. If you look at the Properties panel, you'll see that the dimensions are set at the width to be 150 pixels and the height, which perhaps isn't so important, but the height is set to 225 pixels. I'm only pointing this out in case you want to insert different photographs, some of your own perhaps. Well, make sure that the width is set at 150 pixels. I've already done this for you, and you'll find all the images that I do use available to you within your Work Files folder. Okay, so that's that photograph situated where I want it to be placed. My next step is to use the photograph that runs across the top, our banner image. However, just before I do that, you'll probably have noticed that in the top left-hand corner here is this text, which says Insert Logo 180 by 90. Now in actual fact, despite this looking like it's a simple line of text, it is in fact an image. And if I select it, well, you'll see in the Properties Inspector that this is a placeholder image. And it's only here in case you do want to do exactly that, add in a company logo. If you do, then you need to make sure that your dimensions match what it says there. 180 pixels in the width and 90 pixels in the height. Now as it is for this site, I don't really want that logo. Therefore, if I do want to remove it, which I do, then all I need to do is come up to my Edit button on my menu and then roll down here to where it says Cut. And as you can see, it has now been removed. And that area, which was 90 pixels high a moment ago, because that placeholder image was 90 pixels in its height, well, that area has now collapsed. That's no problem though, because our cursor is still there and we need to make sure that the cursor is there. If it's not, simply click there. But because my cursor is there and I'm about to add in a different image that's going to go right across our site, then that image will now expand the height to fit into this area. So let's do just that. I'll come up to Insert once more and then roll down to Image again. I'll fly out and choose our top option, Image. And then once more, this Select Image Source dialog opens up. And the image I want to use is this one here, Logo Strip Top. Therefore, once I select it, all I need to do now is hit OK. And there we go, it's now been inserted. And to save you some time, because I've made this image to be the precise dimensions of this area, then we don't need to resize it. Noticing within our Properties panel that its width is set to 960 pixels. Do notice also that its height really doesn't matter that much, because its height is set to 151 pixels. Remembering that a few moments ago, the logo placeholder was set to 90 pixels. So whatever you do insert in here, make sure the width is set to 960 pixels. And as I've said, it doesn't really matter that much about the height. Okay, simple enough now then. Now before I do anything else, I want to save this, so I'll come up to File and run down to our Save option. Right, let's check this out. Let's see what it looks like. I'll hit the live button, and there you go. We now see what this is going to look like within a browser. And in actual fact, I'm just going to come right over here and click on this button to collapse our files panel, only so that we can expand this view. Okay, so there's our calendar photograph. Notice as I roll over it, my cursor remains at the arrow. Now I'm pointing this out only because when the user is looking at your site and they roll their cursor over this photograph, then, well, it's not going to do anything apart from display. However, if I roll over our main image running across the top, notice the cursor now changes to the hand symbol, which indicates that this is set up as a link. Consequently, if this site was live, anybody clicking on this photograph would be taken to wherever you decide that you want to take them to. I'll walk you through how this works. I'll just deselect our live preview, and then making sure that this banner image across the top is selected, you'll see down in the Properties Inspector, in this link field, well, you'll notice it's not empty. You'll see that we've got this hashtag symbol, or this pound sign, call it what you will, dependent on where you are in the world. Here in the UK, we just simply refer to this as the hashtag. Well, because this is here, that means that this image is ready to be used as a link. All we would need to do within that link field is provide the URL address where we want that link to be taken to. If you can't see the hashtag there, then of course all you will need to do is add it in. That said, it isn't particularly necessary at the moment because it's actually a dummy link. It doesn't actually take you anywhere. All we've done is set this photograph up so that it can be used as a link, which in fact I'll set up now. Therefore, irrespective of whether you have got that hashtag in place, then simply come to this icon and click, and this takes us to our Select File dialog. And what I want to do is select my index.html page, so I will select it and hit OK. Consequently, that now means that once this site is live and anybody using our site and rolling over this top image, if they click on it, they will be taken back to this index page, our opening page. Now this might seem fairly irrelevant at the moment because we only have this one page, but imagine we had 5 or 6 different pages or however many, then being able to go back to our first page quickly is sort of a convention and usually applied by clicking on the top image. You don't have to, of course, but I'm simply showing you this convention. Okay, so that's us done then for this tutorial. Now that we've added a couple of photographs in, the one in our calendar column over there, and also this banner image running across the top, which we've now conventionally turned into a rather large home button. Right, I'm going to finish up here then, and speaking of links, that's what we're going to look at in the following tutorial. We're going to look at the navigation.